Hi guys, I hope everyone's doing well and having a fantastic summer. I'm deep in cabin renovation, which I talked about in a couple past videos, which is why I'm sort of absent from here a lot because I'm just not like ready to, it's not a calm enough atmosphere for me to bring my cards there, but maybe eventually. But I did want to share something very fun, a very fun visitor that stopped by recently. You might be thinking, please don't follow the bear. And we do know that you really should not open the door and follow bears when they come over. But it was just so magical and we were so fascinated. We just had to, just the one time. And it was just so amazing to just see one just stroll right by our deck there. It was pretty cool. And I felt like when he turned around and looked at us, which he did a couple times, which was amazing, I could really like telepathically hear, he just was saying, got any snacks? So black bears, black bears aren't very aggressive, but you do have to be careful not to be too friendly with them, and definitely never feed them because they'll just start to come over and walk right in your house. So we got to be careful about that. And we've seen some other wonderful animals, some fun birds that come around and some deer. So we're having a good time. And I've been thinking as current events keep popping up, and I am seeing a lot of events that do correlate with some of the things that I've read on, and that always feels very encouraging. Like I heard Melania was not at Trump's birthday party. I did feel in my Melania read that within like 6 months she'd be living her own life. And I do feel a lot of that is she wants to get her finances separate and in order, like a divorce, before they go after his money. I mean, she knows what's coming. And it's amazing. I haven't been on since all of these things have started to happen. The indictment on the Trump organization, I've always felt like there's money laundering. I don't know if that was one of the charges or if that's coming next, or if they just have that and they're trying to use it to get, more people to flip and that sort of thing. And I do think the tax fraud, which is very real and very illegal, matters on its own, but is not everything. Like it's a way to get to the deeper stuff. So we'll keep following that story. I've also heard Ivanka was absent from his birthday party and in general is pulling away from his orbit, distancing herself. I read that in my last read on Trump. She was there as an upside down high priestess, and in the position it was in, it told me that he feels that and it makes him nervous. I also kind of read it as possibly not only pulling away in general, but possibly flipping, upside down flipping on him in other ways to protect herself. So it would make sense if she's pulling away emotionally that she could be just distancing herself because she knows she has to. Brittany's story is unfolding. I'm so proud of her coming out and speaking the way she did. In my reading, I saw her ultimately as a Queen of Wands, and that was very encouraging to me that she's going to find her power and come out and speak out and get her rights. And I mean that her coming out and speaking like that is that spirit of that Queen of Wands sort of. I think that that's just the beginning, and that ultimately we will see her in that way. And I'm getting a lot of sort of energy and heat. I get heat in my head if I feel like I'm on the right track, and I'm feeling that right now just talking about her. But also I know we've all felt so emotional hearing more of her story, like it makes me want to cry. Because I also did, with that Queen of Wands, see a child in her future, another baby. I remember saying, well, I don't know if she want another baby because I see one, you know, in her future. And then to find out that she has wanted a baby and that she has a birth control device inside of her, an IUD, and that she hasn't been allowed to take it out, that her father won't let her take. I mean, it's so stunning and sickening to hear something like that. And I hope that, you know, that in that reading continues to move in the direction of her finding her power, more of her independence, and also being able to have that baby that she wants to have. And I did feel that this child, I think it'll be a girl. It was almost like a soulmate relationship that she would sort of grow old like with her child. And they would be very close. So I do hope that for her, and I'll just keep praying. And I love to see people like sort of waking up to this issue. So, and also the UFO report, which I felt like, and that came out Friday, and I felt like it will be a big deal, but not like world altering in one big giant, you know, move, but that it would be kind of a fun day to watch the news. And I did see some kind of entertaining segments. They are having to report on this because there's enough in that report to basically say, it's not us, it's not other foreign countries. These are very, very advanced technologies that just don't exist. So it sort of leaves the question out there. And I think that, you know, they're sort of putting it out there that we need to research this more. And I think we'll just get more and more information. It's sort of like the beginning, but it's funny. I felt it will be a fun day to watch the news, and I'm happy to see that there have been actually some kind of fun segments. I don't think they're reporting it front and center. It's more like the third segment, because I think they're embarrassed. But yeah, you know, it's of course encouraging when these things do seem to move in the right direction. And I hope also, I think about that filibuster read, the voting rights and filibuster read. I think about that like every day, because we're also concerned about the voting rights, the attacks on voting rights. And I'm just holding on to that energy that I felt in that read, because because we need it. We need that change. I felt that there was going to be bold moves, and that it was going to happen, that voting rights bill will pass, and that, they will sort of flip the filibuster upside down as needed in order to do it. And I also really felt, I felt like DC statehood also. And I'm thinking, yeah, I do remember now, it was kind of like there's going to be a waiting period. And so I think that's what we're in now. And if anything's good about this waiting period, it's showing the true colors of people who are willing to suppress voting rights or buy into, or like kind of not even buy into, but use popular conspiracy theories in order to suppress the vote. So it's like, even though we're seeing ugly stuff right now, I hope that energy is still moving in the right direction, and that we will get that voting rights. I feel like it might happen in 2022, maybe before midterms. So it's sort of, because they'll realize that we have to do it now. We have to do everything bold now, and that it will also be sort of a way to show how serious Democrats are and how willing they are to use whatever powers they have at hand, and like to create also a motivation for voting for Democrats, like that there's a strength there and an excitement to what they're willing to do to make the country more equal and better and democratic. So another thing I wanted to read on, and I've wanted to read on for a while, and I know some people have asked me to also, is the stock market. So my husband worked at the stock market. When I met him, he was like a runner for some traders, but he, his brain just works really well in that way. So he follows the market still every day, and he has felt like for the past 10 plus years, there's an unnatural upward trajectory without what you would consider realistic ebbs and flows. It's like he just feels like everything's overvalued and the market is inflated. for entertainment purposes only. I'm not an expert. I don't know if I'd call him an expert. This is just our opinions, his feelings, based on what he knows and has observed about the market in his lifetime. He's wanted me to read on it. Basically, we want to know if it is inflated, if where it is unrealistic and therefore will eventually have to balance out and drop, or maybe even crash. If we see that, we'll see it, and not to fall into fear, but maybe the message is that no, we can trust it because I don't know. There's the feeling that there should be a natural ebb and flow. I don't know why that would change and suddenly there's no ebb anymore. But we'll see. If maybe it's just encouraging, then that's great. So, and I'm actually going to call him in here because he might need to help me with interpreting some of the cards. So I'm going to call him in. I apologize ahead of time. I didn't think about my husband's volume, that he needed to sit closer to the microphone, so his voice is a little soft, but hopefully you can still hear him, and if not, you can still get the reading from my end. Okay, so I have my husband here. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
He's also a voice actor, in case anybody ever wants to hire him. So we're going to read on the stock market. I think I explained it well. It seems inflated. It's not been natural for about the last 10 years, in your opinion. And you want to know, is this natural and trustworthy, or is this an illusion it's going to fall?
Right. Is this the new normal? Is this trajectory? It just seems like, to me, especially in the last 3 to 5 years, that assets have just seemed overvalued, inflated. So I'm just wondering, is this what we can expect going forward? Is this the new normal, or are we due for a large correction?
Okay, so I'm going to flip some cards over. I'm getting so much heat in my head, so I feel like that usually means like some energy, and so I feel like we're in tune. And let's see. Okay, so stock market, stock, and maybe we'll read on like the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything to expect in the next, should I say year or two?
I would say year or two.
In the next year or two.
Look out ahead a little bit.
Oh, this card. Oh. Interesting, because I only put 5 upside down, and we got one of them right here.
What's that mean?
So upright, this would mean taking a rest. So this would sort of feel like the ebb that you're not seeing. Okay. And it's upside down, so it might just be acknowledging that it seems to just keep going without the rest. Also, the card being upside down can indicate that this seemingly never-ending rise is not quite natural and may even be manipulated. So let's see what's covering it. Oh, 3 of Swords. A lot of swords here. 3. So this is heartbreak. It won't rest because, let's move. I'm gonna pull some more cards.
Okay.
People sort of looking into the future, like yourself, saying, this is weird. What is this? So that is sort of all of us watching and wondering, what is the future going to bring for this? Judgment beneath the surface. A lot of times what's beneath the surface to me is like rising, Yeah. Like the subconscious. So there is a balance or a judgment coming on this. So like, I think you might be right in the sense that the correction, judgment is like correction, right? So that's there. And this could just be like people looking and waiting on this judgment to come, this correction. So let's see, in the past, has there been any, I don't know, like seeing if we get any trickster cards, like something's been tinkered, or Page of Swords. So a page can be like a young person. A page can be a bit of information. Swords are like information.
So swords in general are
It's
information.
mental. Yeah,
Okay.
it's mental, energy, information. But like with something like this, it can also be aggressive movement. So Page of Swords. What could that be?
Is it significant when a lot of the same type of card come out? Like,
I think it can be, yeah. Yeah, like a lot of cups would be a lot of emotion happening. A lot of swords would be like a lot of mental movement.
okay, that makes sense.
The Hierophant. Okay, so this would be like the government or the system. So this might be like what you're expecting. Like, is there something about what is it called? The interest rate, is that related to the stock market?
It is, absolutely, yeah.
Is there maybe a correction to the interest rate that would
Yes.
relate to?
Yes, as the economy improves, we would expect the interest rate to rise. You expect savers to be rewarded. That hasn't happened that much. We've kept interest rates really, really low. But the general outlook right now is that they will be rising in the next year or so.
I mean, with the Judgment and the Hierophant, it seems like something might be coming. This correction might be coming. By the way, this Three of Swords, I'm now feeling like this would be the way you feel if you lose your money or something. All is lost. So it's like, is it sort of like they don't want it to go down because they're afraid of loss? Like, is there someone who would say, I don't want things to go down, I want to stay high? It's like being on a high and not wanting that hangover?
Absolutely. For a lot of reasons, individuals, investors obviously would like their assets to continue.
But can they control it like that? Where they're like, just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, so that we never have to face this like loss?
Yes. There is a lot of, market manipulation, and that's
They
that's a
keep
loaded
trading. They
phrase,
keep
but-
trading. I'm getting chills on this. Is it like they just keep, it's almost like gambling where just keep.
Yes.
Yes. So like, that's like that, like, don't slow down, don't stop, don't stop, because we don't want it to fall and hurt us.
Right. And there are so many things that are dependent on the stock market. It's not just rich people getting richer. It's a lot of pensions, a lot of people's retirement, a lot of middle class people. The government can make choices about interest rates, and that can affect it.
Because this feels a little bit like don't allow the ebb to happen, because people don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like that natural rest that like nature requires for anything is not happening with the stock market.
Right.
Okay, so let's see what else we get in the current storyline here. We have a Knight of Rods, okay. And what is in the environment for this Knight of Rods? Wow, an upside down. Oh, this is, man. This card means loss and poverty. But it's upside down. Someone's trying to avoid loss and poverty.
Yeah, okay.
It's like someone's trying to avoid loss and poverty, which I guess makes sense.
That's why I'm asking you to do this.
But who's
for
this
sure,
Knight of Rods? Is this traders? By the way, this Page of Swords is reminding me of, remember how the young people on the internet like inflated, like they just said, let's make this stock valuable?
Yeah.
Because like swords are like an idea, like, ooh, I have an idea. So like, weren't you saying that you were a little worried that stuff like that, as much as it is kind of a like...
That's always happened in different ways. The worry is that it gets done just for the purpose of making fast money. It's called a pump and dump schemes often.
This feels a little like that, but is Bitcoin affecting the stock market?
Yeah, for sure, and ways that I don't really
This is like the
fully
new,
understand,
this Page of Swords is like the new money.
Yeah. And now
The new form of money?
these sort of Reddit investors, the people who were, supposedly behind a lot of what's been going on with a lot of stocks that have been in the news, like GameStop and things like that. their reasoning is to stick it to the man. Their purported reason. They're
Right.
you know, what's actually going on, I don't know. You know,
Something's gonna like come in. This Hierophant is gonna come in, and it's. I mean, you can see him kind of saying, "No, no, no, you can't do that," or something. So I think something might come in to regulate. This would be like regulation coming in.
that could be, but what happens is on the other side of that, on the other side of people artificially inflating the value by buying up stocks that beyond any reasonable price and pushing it up higher and higher. On the other side of that, the reasoning that some of these people have for doing that is they're fighting against people who are trying to keep artificially low because they're selling. It's called short selling, and they're trying to push down the price of like assets that they think for various reasons are vulnerable to that. So they think that they can make money.
Tell me again about the short selling.
Short selling is when people like believe that a stock will go down, so they can sell it without actually owning it.
I don't know why. I feel like is that happening right now?
It's always happening, but yeah, it's happening. I'm sure it's happening more and more with some of these like extremely highly inflated stocks. Yeah, it famously.
I don't know why that feels like present here in this, because this feels like, because the feeling of an upside down card is sort of like a nope, like I don't know, like someone artificially manipulating something to avoid loss. I don't know if that makes sense with what you're saying, but a knight is like a young person or a low level.
Okay, that would be a lot of these young investors, I think, that have gone out to like stick it to the hedge fund managers who they believe are artificially devaluing some stocks, and they're like saying like they can't do that. We're gonna stick it to them by buying.
Okay.
And by doing so, they artificially inflate the value.
Well, maybe we can have a balance. Let's see what the cards give us at the end, because you want the people who are challenging old systems. The Hierophant is sort of an old system.
Yeah.
But then you also kind of want the balance of like, let's not get too manipulative of things and let the natural balance come in. So, okay, hopes and fears. Oh, got a few here. Oh, it's funny. It's like two opposite sort of feelings here. So the hopes and this is, again, terrible loss. We got the Five of Pentacles, Five of Cups. People are really afraid of terrible loss, of course. Yeah. And then this is more like perspective, the Three of Cups, like prospects.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like
prospecting,
like how can you, because you can also, even if the market's down, you can, well, like you always say, like waiting for it to go down and then you buy the stocks.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like
but then you're like, am I going to miss out if it keeps going up? This kind of reminds me of you.
It kind of sounds like essentially fear and greed, and that's what drives the market. Those two forces.
Yeah.
Fear and greed. Fear and greed. Fear and greed. That's
so people are anxious.
Yeah.
So let's see final outcome for the stock market in the next year or two. Weird. It's just nothing is flying out. It just makes me feel like maybe there's not going to be any surprises.
Okay.
But I've got to eventually pick one. So the Hermit. Now, oftentimes I'll flip like 3 to get clarity.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Underneath I've got the Strength here. So there are some major arcana in here for sure. Now I feel like I have to read a little with the Strength. This is a celebration. We've got Strength, celebration, but we've also got walking away. By the way, take note of this Knight of Cups here. I don't end up including it in this little side read, but it comes up again. I think it's really interesting that I just noticed it here as well. So I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to do a couple. So the Hermit, what would the Hermit mean in, I think this is like, I mean, the Hermit would be watching closely.
Yeah.
It's obvious, it's not like a strong forward motion.
Right.
It's like take time out, take time for yourself.
Like conservative, small c, conservative being like skeptical and watching.
Yeah, like maybe don't make any big moves.
Yeah.
It's introspective. So like what would introspect? So let me see. Introspective. This would be small, like Knight of Cups. You see he's got like a cup. It's like, I think that it's like it's not a negative card, but it's saying like, I don't think it'll go up very much, but it might go up a little.
Okay.
It's like a small gift. It's a knight giving a small gift. And justice. Okay, we've got the Hierophant, we've got judgment, we've got justice. I think maybe this is going to be like a small move that's going to happen where it's like, I don't know if there would be like a small gift given out, not necessarily financial, but like, just because I've got this Hierophant and the justice, like a ruling or a small shift that could happen.
Yeah, there could be some new regulations that could be on the horizon.
Like a new regulation that will be decided on. This would be like the romantic knight offering a gift of emotion. So what would be emotion? I'll give you a little preview of what I eventually get to in this read. I believe this Knight of Cups, this gift, is student loan relief. And I believe it helps to boost the market, even as it finds its balance. So feel free to keep watching and see how I get there. It's pretty fun. That will be kind of like, I feel like it's like a gift to
investors.
Maybe the normalcy of the stock market.
Okay.
Like, only because justice is balance.
Okay.
We talked about that balance. So I don't see any like shocking drop or anything.
Okay.
I see balance, maybe, even a small lift. And the Hermit, let me see what's beneath the surface.
Oh.
Okay, I was wondering if I would get this card. This is Illusion Delusion.
Okay.
So beneath the surface, I think you're right that there's there's some illusion.
There always is. Yeah.
There always is. I
Maybe.
feel like in general, the economy is going to be doing well.
Okay.
That's good for the stock market, right?
Yes, I expect that to happen over the course of the next year or two.
But it does feel
The economy
somewhat...
itself, the real economy.
Yeah, it does feel somewhat, not like blowing up good, but just like nice.
And that's good. That's healthy. That's what we kind of hope for, actually.
Yeah, so that feels healthy. I mean, the justice with the balance. The Hermit would definitely be more of an inactive card.
Okay.
So it's like, just be prudent or whatever, and cautious.
I always am.
And like, maybe it'll still go up a little more.
Okay.
With this. And I do think there's something coming in to create the balance.
Yeah.
The judgment, the Hierophant, the justice card.
That's what I'm interested in. What is that?
So yeah, but like you said, the balance would mean that things should fall.
Or at least be moderated,
I mean, maybe there's someone, but this being a just person, is it possible that the government is trying to help us avoid this loss that you feel is
Absolutely.
due? So they're trying to make sure that the loss, that we don't suddenly have this big flip and get hurt. So yeah, someone's trying to help this thing that you're afraid of not happen in the way so that we don't lose our economy and go into poverty. Just watch things closely. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I guess this was kind of a reading for you, so maybe that's a message for you.
Okay.
Just keep your eye on it. Use your intuition. And you might still keep going up a little bit. The Illusion Delusion is here, but the balance... I just feel like can the balance come without a big crash?
I think so. Yeah, you can find equilibrium without having a giant crash for sure.
So I feel like they're going to find a way to tinker with it so that there's not a big crash. That's what I'm feeling here. And especially when I looked at the bottom under this Hermit card and I saw strength, celebration, this Three of Cups would be like cheers.
Yeah.
I mean, that, and it doesn't feel like bad people. It just feels like we're doing well. And then this Eight of Cups is walking away from something. I mean, is it possible some people will win and some people will lose?
Always. That's always the case, because that's just the nature of trading, because you've got people who are betting against it. So if the market does well, people who are betting against it will lose.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of like always the stock market.
Well, you're giving me a better feeling about it generally right now. I tend to feel, just from what you're talking about, that...
I'm just trying to figure out who's losing. I'm wondering also if the pandemic is still affecting the market.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. There's lots of supply issues still.
This definitely feels like normal people, like regular people, like students even. Like people are celebrating, but then someone has to walk away. What is that? I feel like there's some like scammers out there who have to give up their scam.
Oh.
That's what I feel like this is. And it's like, I don't know if they're super punished, but it's like, you can't do this anymore. Maybe that's the regulation that comes in. And this sort of feels, the strength card feels a little bit like the law coming in. And maybe it has to do with like the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some internet scammers, it's like, they just like, oh, well, we missed out on that scam. We can't do that scam anymore. And then there's celebration in that.
Okay.
So that's cool.
So watching back, it hits me. I saw these celebrating people as young and even said the word students. And I also felt someone loses in relation to this win and has to walk away from what I felt to be kind of a money scam. And it hits me, this side story is saying that student loan relief is coming. And that's what will be a big boost to the stock market, which we can see and feel in that strength card, because young people will be able to put more of their money into it now. So, and also, boosting to the economy in general, so that judgment and justice can bring into balance whatever's been unnatural about the market without the market crashing or even dropping, as I actually see it going up a little bit. And maybe that's sort of, I was feeling like there's some gift that's being given, and maybe that is what it is. It's for the students and the young people who have student loan debt. So I love that. It makes so much sense, and I hope I'm right.
So somehow it's more like, shutting off certain little operations that are scamming and affecting. Yeah, so we've got balance coming, some kind of gift coming, and just keep, being prudent and watching closely.
Okay.
And it's maybe a little feeling of pull away from doing a lot of activity.
Okay.
Okay. So I feel like we got a bit of an answer here, or
Yeah.
at least you feel like you got an answer
I do.
to your question. So
I do.
I hope that some of you found this helpful or useful or interesting in some way. And as always, thank you for watching and listening. And if you have any comments,
Thank you for listening to my wife. Isn't she great, guys? Love her so much.
as always, feel free to leave comments. And thanks for watching. I hope everyone's doing well. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.